In recent years, there has been significant interest in Islamic finance from the world's leading conventional financial centers, including London, New York, Hong Kong, and Western investors who are increasingly considering investments in Islamic financial products. The principle of Islamic finance is that it is a transaction based on exchange that is asset-backed. Islam encourages trade and exchange in commodities and assets and promotes social stability. With several headwinds, Nigeria's growth remains fragile as it exited recession with a marginal 0.11% growth in the fourth quarter of 2020. Can Islamic finance instruments like Sukuk continue to support and drive Nigeria's economic development? Hello and welcome to this special edition of the Islamic Finance Weekly. On today's program, we will be discussing Sukuk and Nigeria's economic development. To give us further perspective on this topic is Dr. Umar Idris, an adjunct associate professor at Al-Qura University of Mecca, Saudi Arabia, and is also the founder of Tiyoma Consultancy. Dr. Umar is joining us virtually from Saudi Arabia. Good day, Dr. Umar, and thank you for coming on the program.
Thank you, Bukola. Good afternoon, and thank you for the invitation. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. I start. Since its inception in the late 70s of last century, Islamic finance has gained momentum and acceptance not only in Muslim countries but also in many of the Western countries, as you mentioned. And this is a very good development for the introduction and development of Islamic finance in the world. Nigeria is one of the most populous Muslim countries of Africa, and Nigeria also is one of the biggest economies of Africa. Nigeria is one of the first oil production countries of Africa. Nigeria has a great and tremendous economic power, which is not negligible in the world. So therefore, the inception of Islamic finance in Nigeria has become something very important and very timely. Nigeria has taken a very good step, a number of developments in the legal system in order to accommodate and allow non-interest or Sharia-based financial system. And this we can observe from 1999 or 1991 until 2000. A lot of developments happened, and also recent developments in the year 2020. This is evidence that Nigeria has played a good role in order to catch up with the trend, so that the Islamic finance will be one of the financial options, one of the instruments which will contribute in the development of the Nigerian economy. Therefore, with the crisis, or the world crisis, the economic crisis, especially the current crisis of the COVID-19, which has affected many of the economic sectors of Nigeria, the agricultural sector, the oil sector, the energy sector, the productions, the manufacturing sector, many sectors of the economy have been affected negatively, and thank God, and Nigeria now is recovering, although it is not yet time to judge the recovery, but we are moving in the right direction. Therefore, Islamic finance is one of the instruments which will contribute in the fixing the damage made by the caused by the COVID-19. Nigeria now is recovering from the effects, from the negative effects of the COVID-19. Islamic finance has a lot to contribute in this. Islamic finance, with its unique instruments which are suitable for solving a lot of the financial and economic problems of the world, can contribute in many ways, especially, for example, in the agricultural sector. Islamic finance will contribute a lot. We have things like instruments like salam contracts, like the Muzara contracts, like the Mugarasa contracts. These are very good instruments which are suitable for the agricultural sector. So using these instruments will solve a lot of problems with regards to the agriculture. And also Islamic finance has other instruments which will contribute in the solution of the economic or financial problems of the let's say production or manufacturing sector. Islamic finance has instruments such like musharaka, such like murabaha, such like mudaraba, which will actually come into the problem and provide right solutions to the individuals and to the firms which are affected by the COVID-19. Again, Islamic finance has also instruments which also can help the government itself. Like, for example, as we experienced in the previous, the issuance of Sukuk by the government. This is also one of the instruments which is used by the government. So Islamic finance has a lot of remedies and solutions for the crisis faced by the country. So in order to help the country to go out from this crisis, Islamic finance has a number of solutions, as I mentioned, and which is, I think, going to be very effective in the going out and smooth going out from the crisis.
Thank you very much for your insight, Dr. Umar. As is mentioned, that 2021 is a year for Nigerians. It has recovered from recession with a growth rate of 0.11%. So, you talk about the role Islamic finance can play to impact the economy. As I've mentioned, that agriculture contributes major to the Nigeria GDP, and you talk about manufacturing. So if Islamic finance institutions in Nigeria can play their part and support Nigeria's economy for the benefit of the society. Let's look at the challenges facing Islamic finance in Nigeria. Is standardization and compliance to Sharia-based principles are key areas identified for growing the non-interest finance market in the country. What are the ways this can be accelerated?
Yes, this goes to the role of the regulator, the Central Bank of Nigeria, the other regulatory institutions of Nigeria. Let me focus on the Central Bank of Nigeria. The Central Bank of Nigeria is the governing body for the Islamic finance and for the other financial institutions. And therefore, the roles played by the central government with its different units. For example, I focus on the Sharia board members of the Central Bank of Nigeria, which who are there to put rules and regulations, procedures, resolutions. These individuals in the Central Bank of Nigeria are the key persons in order to make sure that what are the criteria needed for standardization in Nigeria. These are the people who come up with the laws, regulations, procedures to show the other institutions what are the standardization, what are the standardization position, what are the standards which should be followed by the institutions. Other things that also have to be put into consideration in this regard is the continuous provision of the Sharia Advisory Board of the Central Bank. The Sharia Advisory Board of the Central Bank has to take the lead in continuous monitoring and advising the financial institutions on what is the right thing, what are the right products to be introduced, what are the right services to be introduced, what are the right procedures to be taken in providing products and services. So this is also one of the key points the central bank has to play. Another thing the Sharia board members or the central bank should be the explanation and teaching, training, provision of the knowledge to the experts in the financial institutions. Not necessarily sometimes the experts involved in the provision of these services and goods and services Islamic financial institutions are knowledgeable about, for example, new procedures or new products. So the role of the Sharia board members of the central bank is to educate, to give them the insight from their own experience on how to handle resolutions, how to handle issues, how to come up with more and more Sharia acceptable products and services.
Thank you very much, Dr. Umar. You know, from what you talk about, you see, the Central Bank of Nigeria really need to collaborate with the Islamic finance multilateral institutions for the non-interest finance market in Nigeria to thrive and to elaborate globally. Now, Nigeria has witnessed the issuance of three Sukuks that have been channeled to infrastructure. Are there opportunities for issuing future Sukuks to focus on areas like sustainable cities, health, and education?
Yes, the development in the Nigerian capital market, it is a very significant development, especially with the successful issuance of three sovereign schools in the country. And as you mentioned, these sovereign schools have focused on infrastructure development, and there are yet so many areas that this school has to address. As you said, the sustainable cities in Nigeria are very important. The government in the future, the issuance of schools should also focus on other areas, as you mentioned, like, for example, like the health, like the sustainable city, like education. In terms of sustainable cities, the issuance, the next issuance or the coming issuance of Sukuk should focus on the provision, or the Sukuk should be also the green Sukuk. The green Sukuk are one of the instruments used to issue to finance sustainable cities or environmentally friendly projects. So green Sukuk has been used by many countries, many Muslim countries, to finance sustainable city, the environmentally friendly projects. So the Nigerian government in the next issues can focus on sustainable city in terms of provision of green Sukuk to finance, for example, electricity, the solar electric power,
energy,
to yes, to also finance other environmentally friendly sources of energy, renewable energy, like as mentioned, solar, or the other, for example, which are used for the tides or the wind and other sources of energy, which are, I think, are the most needed areas in Nigeria. Electricity is one of the sector which has to be developed. So Sukuk, green Sukuk, is one of the instruments, Islamic finance instruments, which will cater for this one. Another area, for example, also in the sustainable city, is the provision of the public transportation in Nigeria. For example, the government will provide with the finance or with the funds raised through green Sukuk to options which are electronically. You can look at other areas, for example, like the provision of cities or areas where people can live without. So these are some of the areas of the sustainable city. Other options also the government should channel the Islamic finance funds is the health. Also, the health is very important. The health, or the Ministry of Health of Nigeria, environments. This is also can be financed by the funds raised by green Sukuk. And also education is one of the most important things also to be looked into. So Islamic finance has, as I mentioned, a number of instruments in order to finance these options.
Yes, definitely, Dr. Umar. Education, power, health sector, these are very important infrastructure like Nigeria should key into to support the citizens. Let's talk about the Sukuk and economic development. You see, despite giving the current Minister of Works and Housing the Sukuk fund of 162 billion naira to fix 44 roads, you see, Nigeria still have numerous abandoned road projects across the nation. Do you think investment in Sukuk has contributed immensely to infrastructure development in the country?
Yes, from the history, from what we have seen through what have been done with the fund raised in the previous issuance of Sukuk, we have seen the government has deployed these funds to construct and build many of the roads in the country. And this is a great development in the country because roads are one of the most important things that the government has to look for. In order to facilitate the movements of the people, of the businesses, of so many things in the country. So therefore, the initiative taken by the government to fund the building and constructions of the main roads in the country has indeed contributed to solving many of the problems faced by the Nigerians. And also, as I mentioned, the government has a lot to do in this because the 3 Sukuks issued, which have been channeled to the construction of roads, did not solve all the problems of the Nigerian citizens. It did not solve the road problems. A lot of roads to be constructed in many of the parts of the Nigeria, of Nigeria. So therefore, we hope that in the future, more Sukuks will be issued to finance the construction of more and more roads, and also not only the roads, also the railways. Also, railways also are very important in the country. Recently, we have seen some of the developments in the construction or in the development of the railway lines in Nigeria. So Sukuk can be also used to further expand the railway lines across the country. These are one of the most important things that Nigerians need. Nigerians need roads, safe roads, either with the train, the railways, or the normal roads in the country to make the movement of the citizens smooth and safe. So Sukuk has contributed a lot, and the initiative of the government was very positive, and we hope in the future more and more such issues would come to finance more and more such projects.
So what are the innovative ways to increase awareness on the benefits of Sukuk across the nation?
There are a number of ways to educate the people. I think one of the most important things we have to consider the introduction of Islamic finance courses in our schools. This is one very important, although maybe this will not be generalized to all schools, but I think in some of the business schools, we have to introduce the Islamic finance courses to the people, to educate the people, to let the people understand what Islamic finance is. Another thing is also to provide trainings to stakeholders. Many of the practitioners or many of the staffs in the banks or financial institutions need to be educated with trainings, different types of trainings as they need. And also we have to make sure that, for example, people have the basic knowledge about Islamic finance. Another thing also is the certification. Whether locally or internationally, people have to get certifications in Islamic finance, especially the practitioners in the financial institutions. They need to have certification. Another thing is also one of the innovative ways to educate people on Islamic finance is through financing, through catering for the needs of the people. For example, Islamic finance has a number of instruments to finance people. So, for example, I take one example, Mudaraba. For example, Mudaraba is Islamic finance instrument to finance businesses. So, in order for the people to understand or to get this financing, they have to understand these instruments. So, through financing the needs of the people, we can educate them through provision of microfinance projects, introduction of microfinance projects through which we have to gather the people and let them understand these instruments are Islamic finance instruments which will cater for their needs in this way. So they can understand what Islamic finance is through getting the services. Another way also to educate the people is through the media also. Through the media, the different channels of media, we can use different channels of media, advertisements, radio programs, television programs. In fact, this program that you do also is one of the innovative ways to educate people in Islamic finance. So we have a lot of options, a lot of ways to educate the people so that we make sure people have understood what Islamic finance is at least basically Islamic finance is.
All right, Dr. Umar, just a quick one before I let you go. The February 2021 Moody's report shows that Africa has the potential to be a big player in the Islamic finance market. Share with us major steps Nigeria must take to attain the status of Africa's leading Islamic finance hub.
Yeah. In fact, as I mentioned at the beginning, Nigeria has a great potential to accommodate Islamic finance, and it has started doing this, and it is developing because of the fact that Nigeria is the most populous African country, also its largest percentage of Muslims in the country. Nigeria has a big economy. Nigeria is an oil country. Nigeria has a lot of potentials. This indeed is one step forward towards making Nigeria a hub for Islamic finance. A number of issues, number of areas have to be developed. The government has to look at a number of areas. We have to develop a number of areas. The legal infrastructure in Nigeria has to be developed more and more in order to fully accommodate Islamic finance, to allow foreign investments, to allow the introduction and establishment of new Islamic finance institutions in the country. So the legal framework is very important. So the legal infrastructure of Nigeria has to be developed, number one. Secondly, the economic infrastructure. What I mean by the economic infrastructure, all the factors that help the production of products and services, the smooth movements of these products and services across the country are very important, including the roads, the transportation, the security of the country, the power, electric power, the water system, the many important aspects of life which makes the movements, the production, the distribution of products and services in Nigeria has to be looked into. So the economic infrastructure is one of the most important things to be looked at. And also the financial infrastructure. What I mean, the financial institutions in the country, the banking, the capital market have to be looked at, have to be developed in order to accommodate Islamic finance. This is very important because this will give the international or the foreign investors a convenient environment for the investment. When these three areas have been looked at and developed carefully and successfully, then Nigeria has taken the lead in Africa, because there is no any the reason why no economy will not develop. There is no reason why investors will not come to Nigeria. There is no reason why Islamic finance institutions will not be popular in Nigeria. So when it takes the lead in these three areas and other areas, then Nigeria can be the future hub of Africa. So with this, I think Nigeria will be one of the leading world Islamic finance countries.
Umar, from the key points that you have raised, like agriculture, financing, introduction of microfinancing, education, transportation, and amongst others, it is clear that Sukuk has the potential to catalyze economic growth positively in a country with a robust Islamic finance industry. Thank you very much, Dr. Umar, for the enlightening section.
You're always welcome.
The emergence of Islamic finance can be traced back to 1963 in Egypt, while its importance was manifest during the global financial crisis of 2008. The non-interest finance market is one of the fastest growing sectors of the global banking industry that has risen to prominence recently through its distinctive products and services. The development of Islamic finance in Nigeria should key into addressing unemployment, reducing the financial exclusion rates, improving the welfare of the citizens, and overall support the development of the economy. And that brings us to the end of today's episode. Watch our videos and read our news stories by clicking the www.crochetng.com website and search for the Islamic finance segment on Web TV banking channel. Many thanks for watching. Join us next week Friday for another edition of the Islamic Finance Weekly. Please stay safe and have a wonderful day.